Shabbat Shalom and Chag Sameach. We're getting stronger and stronger on that. Yes, it's coming along nicely. So one of the things I love about Jewish study is it takes something that you thought you understood and knew, flips it on a head, and just absolutely confuses you to no end, forcing you to look at something from a completely different point of view, and then coming to a much deeper, more profound, meaningful, and useful understanding at the other end. So let me share with you one of those great experiences. We often talk about ourselves as having been the chosen people. Yes, in fact, that's often thrown back in our face, as though every other culture and faith does not make some similar claim for themselves. And that concept is deeply misunderstood. And it's not just deeply misunderstood because we have to modernize it for a modern liberal democracy, pluralistic society. It's deeply misunderstood because it's not understood the way it seems to sound by our ancestors more than 2,000 years ago. Let me give you one of the chief examples of this. In the Haftorah, which Bob chanted so beautifully, we have these interesting place names, which I know everybody just sort of glazes over, because really, who cares where Paran, Teman, and all of these other places are? Not so our ancestors. First of all, they lived in the neighborhood, so they knew those landmarks. And secondly, for them, each and every word of, whether it be a prophet or whether it be the Torah itself, is precious and chosen to be there. And if you can't figure out what it means, you better ask someone else so that you can. So they see in this coded language of these place names an entire drama unfolding. They say God did not actually come to the Jewish people with the Torah first. He shopped around. God shopped around. He had a great product, right? And he went to the other nations and he said, hey, have I got a deal for you? I've got this thing called the Torah. It's an instruction book for life. And the Midrash says that first he went to Edom, that is the people who are the descendants of Esau, a relative of ours. And he said, Edom, children of Esau, would you like it? And they said, well, wait, hold on. What's in it? And he said, well, it says don't murder. And they went up. Now, stop right there. We're the children of Esau, dude. We were born to murder, okay? That's like our culture. You can't take that away from us. Hard pass, move along, door slammed in the face. All right, says God. He packs up his briefcase, moves down to the next house along the row, and he says, Ammon, Moab, hey, guys, buddies, you're children of Lot, from his daughters. Would you like this wonderful thing we have that I have here called the Torah? And Ammon and Moab went, hold on, what's in it? And he said, well, it does prohibit forbidden relationships, like the one that got you guys started. And they're like, no, thank you, hard pass, shunk, door slammed in the face. God moves along to Ishmael. Comes down to Ishmael, remember the first son of Abraham, but with Hagar. And he says to Ishmael, hey, Bubby, right, my friend, we go a long way back. Abraham and me, we were like this. I've got this thing called the Torah for you. What do you say? And Ishmael says, what's in it? Well, it does say don't steal. Thanks, hard pass, no. We make our living as bandits along the trade routes of Arabia. You can't take that away from us. This is an essential part of our economy. So God shopped around, went to all the nations of the world, and they all said, no thanks. They all found something within the Torah itself to be objectionable to their way of life, to their history of their nation, to the economic means by which they currently supported themselves. Until God came to this one little, tiny people, us. And God said, hey, Israelites, Jews, would you like the Torah? And we said, no.
We shall do and we shall.
Na'aseh v'nishma. Very famous phrase in the Torah, Na'aseh v'nishma. We will observe it and we will understand it. Flipped. What's that? Where were our lawyers? And ever since Jews have been getting lawyers to look at the fine print, because we signed up for it without reading it. We didn't ask what's in it. We very much didn't ask what's in it for us. We just said, God, the creator of the entire universe, is coming to us with a gift of Torah. What kind of idiot says no to that? I'm sure whatever's in it will be fine. Little did we know that means no bacon, But, bacon, incredible spiritual, life, I'm not sure. I think it's a pretty fair trade. But that statement, Na'aseh v'nishma, that statement of we will do, yes, without even opening it up, without even hearing it, that we were willing to experience what God wanted to give us there at Har Sinai that we commemorate on this day of Shavuot, sight unseen, simply because of who was addressing us, is one of the most profound statements about why our people are the, quote, chosen people. You'll notice in this midrash, we weren't picked first. We were the last one in the playground when they were picking sides, and God finally said, well, no one else wants my Torah, I guess I'll go with them. And that is meant to make us stop and think. That no, we don't have the Torah because we are the best people in the world. We are the people we are because we have the Torah. That it's flipped the other way around, 180 degrees from the usual perspective that people often have on this topic. But even more important than giving us that dose of humility, of recognizing that the worth, value, and meaning of our life comes from something external that was given to us rather than because of our own innate wonderfulness, even more important than that humility and perspective, is what this entire midrash tells us about when we make commitments with other people. Because there are two types of commitments you can make to another person. The whole first run, the Edom, the Moab, the Ammon, and Yishmael, they were making transactional commitments. Right? Someone comes to you and says, I have a deal, and you answer by asking, what's in it? What are the details of the deal? And you look over the contract, you get your lawyer to make sure that you're not missing anything, and it says that party A will do 1, 2, and 3, and party B will do 4, 5, and 6, and that the terms will be limited to such and such time period, and all of those other wonderful legalese things. Those are perfectly fine transactional deals. If you get your oil changed by someone else, you're agreeing to that kind of deal. Nothing wrong with it, perfect. But that is not a Brit. That is not a covenantal deal. A covenant, a Brit, like we have at Har Sinai, where we truly become the Jewish people, is not a deal about the details. It is a deal with the other party. You are not agreeing to it because you like the content of what it is you are agreeing to. You are agreeing to it because you like the party that you are making this deal with. Make sure you understand that. You're not signing on the dotted line because of what's inside that contract. You're signing on the dotted line because of who is offering you that deal. Because you want to be in a relationship with them. You want to have a reciprocal feel of life that is bound together with them. We do this when we are forming friendships, and not so formally, of course. When we form a friendship, you don't say, all right, every year I will promise to get you a birthday present valued at no less than $50 to be delivered within 1 week plus or minus of your actual birthday. If not, I will be found in breach of our friendship, and you will then not be obligated to get me a present the following year. Alternatively, you can continue to hold over my lapse of judgment for the rest of my life and belittle me at every opportunity. No, we don't make deals like that. We say, I'm going to be your friend. You're going to be my friend. We're friends. And that means sometimes you show up at each other's weddings, sometimes you show up at each other's simchas, sometimes you show up for dinner, sometimes you invite them over for dinner, but you don't keep score. You're not worried about being in breach of the contract because you have or haven't done different points that were spelled out in the contract you were originally signing. You agree to the open-ended relationship that a friendship is because you want to be with that other person. You want to have them in your life, and you want to be in their life. And there's no way to break that contract other than to say, I no longer want you around, which is one of the harshest, most painful things that can go through in a friendship or other parts of our life. And in Judaism, that is the deal we made with God. We didn't say, give us Torah because we know it's going to make us great. We didn't say, give us Torah because we're going to get famous through this. We didn't say, give us Torah because we're going to charge royalties on this and it's going to be the best-selling book of all time. We should have, but we didn't. We said, yeah, give us Torah because you're God. And anything that you're offering, we're taking. Because if there's an opportunity to have God in my life, if there's an opportunity to take a gift that God is giving to me that will bring God and me closer, then I want that. And yeah, I'll figure out what the details are. I'll look through it, I'll study it, and I will work hard to use it in order to reinforce that relationship. But I am absolutely signing up for it without reading the details because I'm just happy I have that opportunity. That was the emotion at Har Sinai. Now, partly it was fueled because we had just left Egypt, we had just seen what God could do, and we saw what God stood for. And so we knew that we were in a safe relationship, that we were signing up for an agreement, a relationship that would last thousands of years with a deity that would absolutely be an A+1 to be with. But it was still that emotion of unbridled enthusiasm, optimism, and acceptance. That, thank God, God actually cares about us. God cares about me enough to give us Torah, enough to allow us to have this enhanced relationship, enough to give us not only a relationship with God, but to give us a Torah that will allow us to have a relationship with each other. That we can then be bound together in a covenant of a nation, of humans, of people. Not just one-on-one with God, but all of us together with all of us and each of us with God. We would have been fools to turn it down, which is what the Midrash is trying to say. But if you look at your life purely as a transaction, what's in it? What's in it for me? What's the fine print? If you never allow yourself to make an open-ended embrace of another person, of another idea, then you will always live a narrow, bitter, and suffering life. Life is not a series of transactions. It is a series, hopefully open-ended, of relationships with a few transactions around the edge in order to smooth over strangers until they have become friends. But it is those relationships that are at the key, at the heart. As much as we talk about the law, the giving of the law, the importance of God's path, understand that the law and God's path is about the relationship with God, not just about the words themselves or even just the deeds. Just as our relationships with each other should not only be about the words, but should be about the passion, the commitment that we have to one another. I hope that you find in the celebration of Shavuot renewed dedication and commitment to Adonai and to each other. I hope you find new relationships where you can also build off this covenant, this Brit, to allow yourself to embrace more and bring them close to you. We will talk about one of the most beautiful examples of all of that during our nutshell discussion of the book of Ruth. Shabbat Shalom and Chag Sameach.